Hello, hello, my hey. I got something to say, women around the world and men that support us. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the freaking questions you've been sending me and your guest ideas. Whew, there's so many amazing people in the world. And let's start with one of them. Lynda Samphire's in the house from Seattle. Who doesn't love Seattle?
Ah, happy to be here. Yay.
And she said it was sunny there, but it actually is raining, which is what we picture Seattle.
Yes, stereotypical.
But
Yes.
I was there for a week, and the whole time it didn't rain at all.
Yeah. Yeah. We just had the most beautiful spurt of sunshine. So it's not always raining here.
It's not always, it's like it's not always sunny in Philly. It's not always raining in Seattle. That's a whole nother show,
Oh, yeah, that could be a song.
right? That is a
Yeah.
song. Lynda, I want to start out with your power statement. My message is simple. Life isn't about becoming more, it's about remembering who you are.
Mm.
So, we got some questions about that, but I want to know from you, why was that one the most important and why you picked it?
Because that was my journey. I always spent so much time outsourcing myself, looking for who to be, what to become, how to be more of myself. And it wasn't until I came into a space of remembering who I was and going inside rather than outsourcing my truth that then life really unfolded for me.
That was one of the questions. Please ask Lynda, what did she have to stop becoming in order to start remembering?
Mm, yeah, somebody else, right? Somebody, the
Time frame.
expectations.
When did that start shifting for you?
I'll back up real quick to when I was two. I lost my mother at a really early age. She passed away, and that really made the world unsafe for me. So it was always searching outside of myself for safety. And through my own work, my own studies, I probably have enough certifications to wallpaper my house. But that was the outsourcing, right? And I learned a lot about myself. And then when I came, I'm like, oh, I have to stop this. This isn't working. And it was like a dial clicked. And I started doing things to come more inward, paying attention to my thoughts, paying attention to how I speak to myself, how I treat myself, really creating a relationship with my system rather than outsourcing my system.
I was laughing because my husband came in here last night. He goes, the self-help keeps on coming. Like you have so many books and research. And I said, okay, wait a minute. I do get them also from my guests and want to read them before I bring them on. But there was a point that I was just like taking it all in and not taking time to go, wait, let me just check in here. And I think I learned a lot, but it's a balance.
Most definitely. And it's about not fixing ourselves. We really don't need to be fixed. And so there's this remembering of our inner intelligence and our highest wisdom of who we are. And that's power. When we stop outsourcing and we go inwards, that is power.
I don't know when it hit me, but it was years ago that somebody said this to me, and I thought, I think it's true. You innately come in here with peace, love, and joy inside. Just tap into it. And I was like, I think that's so true.
Yes, definitely, because it's underneath the resistance, right? And it's the conditioning. When we outsource so much, we're conditioned like this is how you do it, rather than wait, if I just stop a minute and start developing a relationship with myself with inside, then the answers unfold and there's this ripple effect. Then life changes. And not that we don't have guides and mentors along the
Yeah.
way to hold space for that, but it's not the next best thing.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
different, like, I remember even as a kid, when people tell me this is what you have to do and this is how things would be, and I still say it. Are you sure? And who said so? And I was a wide butt like at 9, but are you sure? Who says I have to be that way? Who says that's a lady? Why do I have to act that way? Are you really sure it has to be that way? And to this day, I still say that all the time.
I'm the same way. I'm like, why do I have to do that? Why do I have to be that way? Because I think there's this internal innateness within that we know what's best for ourselves. We know ourselves better than anybody. And when we question that, that's something inside of us going, wait a minute, that's aligned for them, but maybe not for you. And it's that trust.
That's a line for them, which is cool, but not. Gotta write that down. Okay. We better stop just a moment and tell you about Lynda, because I could see we would just keep going, but just a little bit about.
Yeah.
Thank you. The name, I'm so bad with pronouncing names. Like, I can do this one.
Samphire.
Oh, I said, oh my goodness, I said it wrong again. I said sapphire. Thank you.
That's pretty too. That is actually my favorite stone. So that works out well.
By the way, my audience is going to be, oh my God, she took a name that was Lynda Samphire. Sam. It even says it. Lynda Samphire. I don't remember it. Lynda Samphire
I'm
works.
kind of good. However you want to say it, I'm good with.
Oh, I no, we want to get it. Lynda Samphire, Sandy, works at the intersection of nervous system regulation, conscious leadership, and the wisdom of sleep and dreams. Through embodied awareness and intentional work with sacred medicines, she helps people restore what she calls the solar lunar loop, the natural rhythm between action and restoration. So we lead, rest, and live from our own inner authority. Okay, before we get into your tips, oh my gosh, I got lists about the solar lunar loop. Now, we've never in 17 years, I think, spoken about that. So you need to dive into that. We want
Okay.
more. Everybody wants more.
Everybody wants more. Yes. And so did I. And that's why I went towards this. So I love your audience. Build a relationship with your system, right? So we're leading it consciously during the day. How I talk to myself, how I treat myself, what I eat, how I create time for me. And that builds a relationship with your system. At night, we go into, I kind of like to say that during the day, I'm leading, and at night, my soul reciprocates and leads. And so it's about,
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Say that again.
I like to think of it as during the day is me leading consciously, making my choices. And then at night, my soul reciprocates and feeds back. Because at nighttime, we're sleeping, we're unconscious. And then our brain and our system is doing so much to repair itself and integrate and regulate everything that happened during the day so that when we wake up in the morning, then we are back into a space where we feel like we can consciously make choices and keep moving. So paying attention to our dreams, doing a night hygiene and getting that sleep is so important for our bodies. And we heal while we sleep. And then during the day, we function and we consciously make these choices. So it's the solar lunar loop. Some people, a lot of us, I mean, I did too. We do it all during the day and then we rest and we do it all during the day. There's this intelligence happening at nighttime that I think is important to bring into.
So it's been years, and I did have some dream experts on, but I mean, it's been so long, and that's why the audience is like, I don't know how you're going to get it in, Weston, but they really want to dive into that in
Into
addition
the
to
dream.
that stuff. So we might have to bring Lynda back, but I'll quote Sally Bell. We make up names. I know dreams are important. I know sleep's important. I know I probably should pay attention to them more. But at one point, somebody said to me, it's just your brain working things out. It's random noise. I don't really think that's the case, but I'd like to hear Lynda explain what dreams are helping us with.
Mm. I love that, because we do, dreams are not random, right? They're really showing us how we vibrate during the day. Yes, most definitely our body is integrating what happened during the day, right? Or we get that REM sleep, we're getting things cleaned out of our brain. So that is correct. However, there's another piece to it. There's this inner intelligence that's brought online. Um, Theory of relativity, the light bulb, all of those were created during naps and our sleep time. So there's this higher intelligence where the neuroadrenaline chemical is down, where we have this opportunity to speak to our highest wisdom and pay attention to what's coming through. So, Carl Jung, the two pathways to the soul, imagination and the dreams. So, there's a lot that's being told back to us. And it comes in symbols. So it's really hard and difficult sometimes to understand, like, well, why is there an upside down house in a tree in my dream? What's
Yeah,
that
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah. And so these symbols, though, we go right to the dictionary. I call that old school, the dream dictionary. When in reality, we're asking that's personal to us. What a house means to you upside down might be completely different to me. I could have built an upside down tree house when I was a kid, and so it's completely different. And it's about the language of our soul speaking to us. When we start paying attention to that, that keeps our inner intelligence online and moves through during the day. And we start, there's that solar lunar loop where the symbol could show up in real time, and we're like, oh, I get it now. And so it's not about dissecting it, it's not about excavating the dream, it's about just listening. So you're teaching yourself how to listen to your system, and that's the relationship. When you have a friend, if you never listen to the friend, they probably would go away, or you wouldn't really talk to them that much. That's what's happening. So it's about our system having a moment to speak loudly to us while we sleep. There's
I,
so much more in there,
yeah,
but
I have
that's
so
that's a
many
short
questions.
version.
It's like a whole. All right, so all right, just so I can understand it, even at the basic level, and my listeners, I know they're gonna. I get it. We need to have more, but let's start with I have a dream in the middle of the night. Should
Mhm.
you, if it wakes you up, write it down?
Yes.
Okay,
However,
so I wake up, I have a dream, I have to go to the potty, have,
yes.
have a little
However,
notebook, and it
yeah.
won't wake you up by writing it down, just jot it down.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? um,
That's the
because we if it's a really big dream, like I've had messages in my dream that come, there's going to be, like, one of them was, there's going to be tornadoes and storms all around you, but by the time it reaches you, it will be a trickle. And then our world went into chaos. So there's things, so that was important to write down. Um, we will tell ourselves, and I do this myself all the time, oh, I'll remember it in the morning. I'll remember it. Either I keep myself awake remembering it, or I don't remember it when I wake up. So sometimes maybe
no.
just a word. And there's lighted pens. Like I have a lighted pen and a
Ooh,
journal right by my bed, and I might write down dog, tornado, and that will trigger it to come back in.
you know what? I like the lighted pen because I have a journal. And so for a point, I was writing down my dreams, but I was doing it too much and it would really wake me up. So just taking a lighted pen, because I was taking the journal, going into the bathroom, so I didn't wake my husband. And then I was like, all right, where's the part?
Yeah, and
So
then you're
simple. Why
awake.
did I think of that? Like, just write
Yeah.
a word to trigger you. Now, there are times which I go, okay, this must really have meaning. That I remember the entire dream the next morning. Is that because I had it right before I woke up?
Yeah, most dreams we remember right before we wake up, but there are those ones in the middle of the night that we wake up maybe like 2, 3 in the morning. And
Yes.
then if it feels important, write it down. There's
Okay.
times though that I'm like, what did I write? My writing's horrible. But and I call that dream tracking. And I think that's one of the best things you can do to start working with your dreams. And dream tracking is just the minute you wake up, write the symbol down. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to write this
Got it.
big long story because that's what stops us. So, house, tree, red, blue, write it down and then see how it unfolds during the day. And there can be these little light bulb moments coming online with it. And then maybe you'll have time later on to write it down. That being said, there are some dreams that come through that are pretty big and they deserve the attention of writing it down.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think you'll know that, right?
Yeah. We don't have to know everything. I mean, rarely is there a beginning and end to the story.
Yeah.
Then what we do is we might, if there's a symbol, I take one symbol that stands out prominent out of all of them. And if nothing kind of comes through, I just might say, okay, more clarity, please, on the blue ball. And as I go to sleep at night, incubate it and see what comes through.
I like that.
Yeah.
I know there's much more to dive in, but I feel like it gives us a direction. And there are some people that have written in that some of them have bizarre dreams. They're like, I have no idea what these things are. And then there's other ones that say they literally can tell if they're having a conflict and they will see the exact people and what's going on in the dream.
We are so powerful. The night intelligence is so powerful. And I think most of us are missing it. And it takes so little time to just have a notebook, a lighted pen, and write
Right.
something down. And we don't have to look it up. The other night I had I don't know, do you know what a loon sounds like? It's a really haunting, it's a beautiful sound. It's a like a bird. Um, and all of a sudden I heard this loon and it woke me up. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. I just heard a loon. Like, did I really hear a loon or was it in my sleep? And so I kind of wanted to know what the spiritual meaning around a loon was. And so I looked it up and it actually said it's what arrives at the end of a dream to pay attention because that was just important what you were dreaming. I was like, oh, and they would look at it as the in between the realms between the spiritual and the human realm. And so something like that, I will look up. I'll first ask, what do I love about loons? I love their sound. It feels like sound frequency to me. So, and then I might go, oh, I'm interested. So those are the types that when we look up that I think are kind of important. But I always say, put the dream dictionary, the AI, everything last. And what I represent the loon. I am the loon, I represent, right?
Yeah.
I am the house, I represent. I am that person in my dream, I represent. Because if we go to the heart of everything on a very deep spiritual consciousness level, we're all one from that streaming consciousness, right? So I am this. And it's our dreams are so personal, our soul speaking to us. But they will put like a person, like that you might receive a person as a symbol. Um, because it's like, oh, this will get their attention. This will get their attention. This person really irritates them. And so, I'm wanting you, here's our highest wisdom. There's irritation in you that's ready to move. So I'll show you this person because that's what that represents. That's a kind of a basic way of showing that. So,
Bottom line is, it's not random noise, Sally Bell. It's not. Oh, I love that. And I'm definitely going to get a lighted pen. That would solve a lot because
yeah.
I need to be going in the bathroom and like you said, I was over analyzing it and it doesn't need to be done that way.
No, that's the one. Because what that does is that takes the meaning out of it because then our left brain comes online and the ego comes online and wants to make sense of it. We want the message just to flow through us. So, what the feeling that comes with it is so important. What does it feel like running through your body? Even
Mhm.
if you can't remember your dreams, what should be written in the journal is the how you feel first when you wake up. And I know I dreamt last night because we all dream. Um, I don't remember it, but I know it was something good because I feel right. So just sitting with the feeling of it, just when you take a shower, anything can be powerful enough. And then your dreams are like, oh, they're listening.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that resonates with me. All right, let's talk about your mindset ritual. I protect my first few minutes of the day. I regulate my nervous system, reflect on my dreams, get daylight in my eyes, a face cold plunge to anchor my body's rhythm. So I'm leading my day instead of reacting to it.
Yeah.
And then your tip is protect the first 15 minutes of your morning.
So much. I mean, how we spend our first part of our morning really sets the day for us, right? So I love dunking my face in cold ice water first thing in the morning. I know it doesn't sound super pleasant, but what that does is that it activates the mammalian dive reflex, and that is our built-in system that basically just tells the body slow down, stabilize. It brings our vagus nerve online, so it helps us wake up without our nervous system coming too much online, so it regulates it. Next, stepping out in the sun, are setting our circadian rhythms. It will help your sleep. It will ground you for the day. And it reminds your body that it is daytime and it's time to come online. So there's that solar lunar loop, right? Where we're now shifting and it's time to come online. It's time to be alert and be conscious. And then that also helps, like I said, with the circadian rhythms and helps us get better sleep at night. And then, of course, I'll write down my dream symbols. And if it's a big dream, I will take the time to write it down. And sometimes you can just talk it into a recorder too, if you want to. So those are my main things that I do. And then, of course, coffee. So,
The only I do my ritual. I wake up a certain way every morning, breathing in it, and then I have certain things. I go out my front porch, no matter what the weather is. I do my little dance routine, but the one thing I don't do is the cold face plunge. But that's very enticing instead of the full plunge that I know some of my
right.
friends do, or the full ice shower. I think I could do the face plunge.
I did it a long time ago when I was really overworking and outsourcing myself when I was working two jobs. And I was
Oh, bugger.
up
We're going
up
to keep here
late,
because
early in
she
the
froze a
morning.
little bit. I'm not sure, but she is very. Oh, you came back.
Oh, did I disappear?
Yeah, you froze for a little bit.
Oh, that's no fun.
That's right. Years
Because
ago.
yeah, years ago when I was really overworking myself, that's kind of when I started doing that. And then it was more of a to just wake me up. However, now I do it because it just you can feel the difference. And my husband and I joke because when I get up in the morning, he has my coffee ready and my ice bath to dunk my face in.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah, you know, um, and it first for inflammation, but it just you can feel the shift from going into the water to coming out of the water. Now it's sometimes I have to go, oh, this is going to be cold, but once you're there, it's pretty good, and it's nothing dramatic or big.
I know I can do the face thing, and I
Yeah,
think I would enjoy that.
yeah,
So I'm a big component, and I'm sure you are too, to do this before you look at your phone.
yes,
I don't know, maybe you do, but I'm like, I have my routine down before I open it up, before I start answering. This is what I do to regulate myself.
most definitely. And because once you get on your phone, I think you've kind of lost it. You're now out of your body, and it talk to your system first and then move um, into the day, because then you're leading from your system, and that's really that relationship with ourselves. I'm the same way. I don't do anything for I take the first hour of my day, um, and I just ask, what does my system need, and I sit with it, and I listen to it and then I go forward. And it's not that the days don't get busy and you get a little frenetic. However, then at that point, it's like I think when you start your morning that way, you remember to just kind of take a breath.
I agree.
Yeah.
This tip that you were talking about, number three, I was just having a conversation with my client about it. And a big component, and it makes a massive difference. So when I saw this, I was doing the happy dance. Before sending the email, having the conversation, or making the decision, take one conscious breath and feel your feet on the ground. Clarity follows safety.
Yeah. Yes. And I love how four follows up with that. What do I already know that I don't need to go out and outsource? So we're just standing in that ground with the breath, and we're building trust in ourselves, right? And then before engaging with other people, what do I already know? Trust in your voice, and that's going to lead your day.
Yeah, I'm gonna think about how I could switch that, because usually before I go on a podcast or text someone that is not just back and forth, or email or whatever, I take a breath, I feel peace, love, joy, abundance, and then I think of what is the outcome I want. But you're saying it differently. You're saying, what is it I already know
Yeah.
first?
Yeah. We already know everything, really, in a sense, right? Knowledge is good to
I
learn.
tried to tell my husband that now.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't you know I know everything? Listen, I think I've said that too. Um, it's about what that does is it helps practice trusting in your own voice when it comes to making choices during the day, when it comes to being unattached to outcomes and what they need to be. So,
So you're going to have a difficult conversation or send a difficult email, and you
mhm.
say to yourself, what do I already know? Do you just spend time there in a minute listening, or do you write it down?
I usually like to listen first because if I write it down, I kind of go into the ego in the left brain and it kind of goes off on its own. So I just shut my eyes and whatever comes forward, I listen and then I might write it down if it's important. Sometimes it's just like, oh, I do know this. And it's that because you're quiet and you're listening to that very subtle voice, which is your own intuition, right? Which is your own intelligence rather than outsourcing. Then we're not getting anxious. We're not trying to prove the self. And then we're more in a space. Well, the interesting part too, what I love of that, then you've shifted your energy. And so that's going to shift the energy of the whole experience that's coming forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm cracking up because, and I know many of us do it before asking five opinions. Pause and ask yourself, what do I already know? It's so true. It's so true.
We look for validation outside of ourselves. And then that's that part again, stop outsourcing and really develop that relationship. And you remember who you are. That's where you remember who you are. And over time, that builds and ripples out.
I can't tell you, I'm thinking about all the times throughout the years that I've heard completely the opposite of that, right? You don't know it all. Make sure you listen up. And I hear what they're saying, but again, it when you say stop outsourcing your inner authority, there's a different, like if I listen to myself and what I already know and ask for the right people, the right book, and the mentors to come in my life that I need at the time, that's a whole different feeling.
Yes. Yes. And I love that you ask them to come in and then wait for them to appear.
Yeah.
That's how that works. If you have to, I always look at it as if it feels like I'm trying to climb over a brick wall and I keep running into it, I'm outsourcing. If I'm speaking like Because really, when we read a book or when we call a mentor, what's happening is we're remembering. It resonates like, oh yeah, I kind of already knew that. Oh, I kind of already knew that. Have you ever gone to, like a psychic reading and they tell you something? Oh yeah, I kind of knew that. It's a remembering. It's a spark. It's that light bulb that comes on.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so it's not like, oh, I come to you and I say, okay, could you just please tell me like what I should do with my life, how I should be, what I should do my business? No, that's not what's it. We already know that. It's about guidance and alignment into that and then trusting yourself with that. And that's the process. And that's why these containers are so beautiful and mentors and guides, the right ones, right?
You just said it so beautifully of what I was trying to explain for many years. So not that there's anything wrong with them, but I don't go to psychics or hard readings or whatever. And I used to tell people, no, I'm good. I got my own connection. Me, I call God Neil. I'm going to go and in source and see what's going on. And they would always crack up. And so even to this day, like, come on, it'll be fun. I'm like, nah, I don't want to give that away. Now, I'm not saying that it's not and it doesn't have its place. You're right. But I don't look for it to guide me.
Mm. Yeah, that shifted for me too when I began remembering, and I'm the same way now. There is times I might go to intuitive because there's something I'm just curious about, but I
Yeah.
don't allow it to tell me what to do. I take the
Yeah.
information.
There's a difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's how I run my
Yeah.
sessions. Like I give information, we work with it, and what resonates, take it. If it doesn't, don't. It might at some point, but we need to align with our own autonomy, right? Our own sovereignty of walking through life, and that's about building the relationship with our own system and stop outsourcing. Start,
I like
it's
the way you said that with the intuitive part, because there are people that I have in my life that because I'm so aligned with who I am, they said something I needed to hear right at that time.
yes.
It
Thank you.
was so powerful.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. And that's exactly how it works. And there's that interconnection of stream of consciousness, right? All of us connected. So we have these beacons in life that kind of light that up for us, those little
Yeah,
lighthouses, right?
I love this. I love that we connected, Lynda. I'm going through and trying to figure out peeps. I'm going to try to get one or two more questions in here really quick. I'm doing my best I can, but you're going to have to just reach out to Lynda. So let's do this one. Why is it important? How would it benefit our leadership skills if we regulated our system before responding? Ooh, that's a good one.
Mm, that is at the heart of my work because I think we do need, yeah. So there you go. There's your intuition online, picking the question. Um, I think we need to lead differently. And that's my hope with my work is to become different leaders to where we regulate our system and we're not so reactive and we're not making choices based on an overactive nervous system that is kind of static and frenetic. When we can sit and regulate our body first and then move into our leadership, we're connecting to our own inner intelligence, and that's power. That's where you get beautiful music, beautiful ideas, beautiful corporations that build and rather than take. And we can see that by employees being happy, right? And how to lead through our life in a sense that we're sovereign and connected to our autonomy and not from an overactive nervous system. Then we're coming from a place of fear.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, touched on this, but I just want to fine tune a little bit more because they wanted to know that first 15 minutes. Why is that so important neurologically?
Think of when we sleep as a reset. When we go to sleep, we've whatever's happened the day before, I'll sleep on it and we feel better in the morning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we want to grasp onto that. That's our reset. That's starting over. It's like we hit the reset button as long as we're getting our sleep, right? And so that first 15 minutes to half an hour in the morning is really setting the precedence through the day. And then where that solar lunar loop is moving as a circle, not a stop, then we'll go to this and then stop. It's a rhythm. We're creating a rhythm for ourselves. I like to do the same at nighttime where we go into sleep hygiene. And I like to take a shower at night, just wash the day off. Um, and I set my space up. And that's that same thing. What are you setting yourself up for the night?
You journal at night before bed?
Sometimes if it feels important. I write a lot. I have a lot of stuff that comes through. And so I'm constantly throughout the day writing things down. Um,
Call it my scribble scrabble.
Sometimes my nights, I just really, if it's been a busy day, I may not have the bandwidth to sit there and write and write and write. And so I'll probably write a dream intention down and I'll just breathe and let the day kind of move through me. I'll dim the lights. It's funny for me once I take a shower and I just rinse off, like I don't wash my hair
Yeah,
every
yeah.
night or anything. Um, it's this click for me. It kind of reminds me of when you step outside to get that circadian rhythm set. It's
Yeah.
like that turning the lights off, right? And just letting the brain smooth down. It changes everything for me. So um the 30 minutes before you go to bed and the 30 minutes that you wake up are those two switches. And we so owe it to ourselves to take the time to do that for this moment of just loving ourselves and developing the relationship with our own inner systems.
I was thinking of my one friend that she falls asleep to unsolved murders.
Her dreams are like,
And she says it puts her to sleep. Oh my gosh. And they're like real, like murder mysteries. All right. Anyhow, Linda, thank you so much for being on the show. And the one thing I always ask my guests, if you could whisper one message in a woman's ear tomorrow morning, what would it be?
you're beautiful. You're so beautiful just as you are.
I like that message.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now tell us, how can they find you, look you up, follow you, work with you?
Well, my website, lwsamphire.com, has everything on there. In fact, there's a downloadable program with Dream Series. So if
Oh,
you want to learn how to work with your dreams, it's a really easy way. It's me in video guiding you the whole way. So um and then I'm on Instagram and all the socials. So and of course these beautiful podcasts like Sandy's.
are there?
Yep. There, I have a media page and all the podcasts go on there too. So there's a plethora of information. I also have my blogs called Intuitive Reflections that you can read about too.
All right, Linda, is there anything we didn't get in that you want to get in before we go?
I think we covered so much. I mean, we could probably talk for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
However, no, it was beautiful. Just remember when you feel safe in your own body, you stop outsourcing your authority. So
I like that.
yeah,
That's a good one to end on.
yes, beautiful.
All right, my hey, I got something to say, people. You know what I'm going to say. I love you guys. I'm sending you so much joy. And until next time, thank you, Linda, and toodles.
Thank you.